My delusional GF said, "You're insecure about my guy friends. Stop being pathetic." I smirked, cool, then let them pay your rent. Days later, I signed a lease out of state, and she spiraled when my promotion didn't include her. Hey, Reddit, figured I'd finally share this one because it's been sitting in the back of my head for a while. 3 years down the drain with someone who thought texting her college brothers 24/7 was normal, and me realizing the hard way where I actually stood. What started as late night laughs and "they're just friends" turned into me making the coldest, smartest decision of my life. So here's how it started. I, 28 male, have been with Samantha, 26 female, for 3 years, living together for one. For the first 2 years, things were fine. Normal relationship stuff, Netflix nights, cooking together, arguing over whose turn it was to clean the bathroom. Nothing wild, nothing dramatic. Stable, which in hindsight was probably the calm before the storm. 6 months ago, she decided reconnecting with her college crew was a brilliant idea. And when I say crew, I mean 3 dudes she used to hang out with on campus: David, Lucas, and Victor. No girlfriends in the mix. Just 3 guys and my girlfriend suddenly acting like it's a reunion tour. At first, I didn't care. People have friends. Cool. Go reminisce about dorm life and ramen noodles. But this wasn't catching up over coffee once in a while. This turned into her basically being surgically attached to her phone. We'd be watching a movie, and buzz, buzz, buzz. I'm trying to pay attention to the plot, and she's giggling at her screen like a teenager. Dinner? Same thing. She'd prop her phone against the salt shaker so she could just finish this conversation while I'm sitting there like a decorative plant. Bedtime? Forget it. 11 p.m. I'm winding down. She's still typing away like she's moderating a stock market crash group chat. I gave it some time because maybe it was just the honeymoon phase of rekindling old friendships. People catch up, swap stories, then move on. Except it didn't die down. It ramped up. 2 months ago, I finally said something. Nothing harsh. Just, "Hey, the constant phone stuff is getting a bit much. Can we chill with that when we're together?" That was it. Bare minimum. Her response? She squints at me like I asked her to sell her kidneys. "Seriously? You're jealous of my guy friends? That's so controlling." And I swear the way she dragged out controlling hit different. Like she was branding me a possessive psycho for wanting my girlfriend to actually acknowledge I exist when I'm sitting next to her. I work in logistics. 50-hour weeks. I come home tired, trying to squeeze quality time out of what little is left in my day. She works remote marketing. She makes her own hours. Can nap at 2 p.m. if she feels like it. But apparently carving out time to text David about his relationship drama takes priority over spending even one uninterrupted dinner with me. After that conversation, instead of slowing down, she doubled it. Almost like she wanted to prove a point. See? I can talk to them whenever I want. Watch me. Now suddenly she's got Wednesday game nights with them. Saturday brunches. Random Tuesday hangouts. She'd invite me, but in that tone. You know the one. The, "you can come if you really want to, but we'll all act awkward and make you regret it" tone. Basically a warning label disguised as an invitation. And I'm not stupid. I know the difference between someone wanting you there and someone covering their ass so they can later say, "Well, I did invite you." So, yeah, the red flags weren't exactly subtle. She thought she was slick, but all she was really doing was showing me where I ranked. Spoiler, somewhere below David's emotional meltdowns, Lucas's work complaints, and Victor's travel plans. The thing that annoyed me most wasn't even the guy friends. It was the principle. If I came home and spent all night glued to my phone, laughing with 3 random women, she'd have lost her mind. I'd be labeled disrespectful, unfaithful, you name it. But since it was her doing it, suddenly I'm insecure if I have an issue. Classic double standard. At one point she actually said, "They're like my brothers." Yeah, okay. Funny how none of my actual sisters FaceTime me at midnight asking for advice on their Tinder matches. Brothers don't spam you with "you up" texts. What she didn't realize was that every time she picked her phone over me, I started checking out of the relationship a little more. Not angrily, not with some big plan yet, just mentally bookmarking all the moments she chose them over me. And let me tell you, the bookmarks piled up quick. So yeah, that's where I was at. Watching my girlfriend act like I was optional, like my time was filler between FaceTime calls. And I'm telling you, it doesn't take long for a guy who knows his worth to realize he's done playing second fiddle. Because here's the thing about me. I don't beg for attention. I don't chase people who can't even look up from their phone when I walk into the room. If that makes me controlling, then fine. Better controlling my own life than sitting around controlled by someone else's lack of priorities. And Samantha? She had no idea the clock was already ticking. Because about a week later, my boss pulled me into his office. He's usually a no BS guy, so when he asked me to close the door, I knew it wasn't about me missing paperwork. He sits me down and says, "We're opening a new distribution center 2 states over. Management positions. You're our top pick." I just sat there for a second, letting it sink in. Operations manager, a 40% raise, full relocation package. Basically everything I'd been grinding for since I started in logistics. My brain immediately went from, how do I tell Samantha, to, she's not even going to look up from her phone long enough to hear me. But I nodded, thanked him, shook his hand like a professional, and inside, I was already picturing the exit sign glowing above my relationship. That night, I came home buzzing. Not from the coffee, not from the traffic, but from the fact that I was about to level up my entire life. I walked into the apartment, ready to share the news. You know, big boy adult moment. Tell your partner about the promotion that's about to change both your lives. Guess what I walked into? Samantha, sprawled on the couch, FaceTiming David. Of course it was David, laughing about some inside joke that apparently required 45 minutes of uninterrupted conversation. I put my bag down. I sat. I waited. 10 minutes. 15. 20. She didn't even glance my way. That was it. Right then, I knew telling her would be like announcing a championship win to someone wearing noise-canceling headphones. So instead of begging for her attention, I just watched. Watched her sit there, giving her whole evening to a guy who isn't even her boyfriend, while her actual boyfriend was 3 feet away with the kind of news people usually pop champagne for. I leaned back, smirked to myself, and thought, not anymore. That phrase hit me like a switch. She'd asked me once if I was jealous of her guy friends. Back then, I'd mumbled something. This time, the answer was clean. Not anymore. Jealousy requires competition. And I'd already stopped competing. I didn't say a word about the promotion. Didn't drop hints. Didn't remind her she was in a relationship with someone who just got tapped for a leadership role. I accepted the job the next morning, signed the relocation paperwork during my lunch break, and started plotting my move like it was a military operation. Apartment viewings? Booked for my next days off. Movers? Scheduled? Lease? Month to month, which meant I only had to give 30 days notice. I wasn't just walking away, I was upgrading. Meanwhile, Samantha kept doing her thing. David needed daily therapy sessions. Lucas had some crisis at work that apparently required Samantha's round-the-clock attention. Victor was planning a trip and needed her help researching flights for hours. My girlfriend, the unpaid intern of 3 grown men who weren't even paying her rent. I'd come home, watch her locked into their group chat, and just smile. Because every second she spent glued to her screen made my decision easier. Fast forward 3 weeks. I'd already put my notice in with the landlord, movers booked. New apartment lined up. I'm sitting on this nuclear-level life change like it's a poker hand she can't even see. And then she blew up her own spot. I wasn't even the one to tell her. My sister Lauren posted on Instagram. So proud of my brother. Can't wait to visit you in New York. Cute family post, right? Should have been wholesome. Instead, it was the spark that lit Samantha's panic button. She's scrolling through her feed, sees Lauren's post, and freezes. Her face goes pale like she just got tagged in the wrong photo. What is Lauren talking about? I didn't even flinch. Oh, I got promoted. Moving for work. Moving? Her voice cracked like a bad Wi-Fi connection. When were you going to tell me? I shrugged. I tried. 3 weeks ago. You were busy. The look on her face was priceless. Like someone just told her Uber Eats shut down forever. This is insane. You can't just decide to move. What about us? I looked at her, calm as hell. What about us? You've made it pretty clear where your priorities are. She sputtered. Because I have friends? Because you have friends who get 90% of your attention while I get the leftover 10%? And that's being generous. Her jaw dropped. And right when I thought maybe she'd take it seriously, she did the one thing that proved I was right. She grabbed her phone, mid-argument, looked me dead in the eye while typing. Are you seriously texting right now? I need advice. This is crazy. From who? David. Lucas. Victor. They understand me. That was the kill shot. No yelling, no fighting. Just a clear confirmation that I wasn't even in her top 3 when it came to handling problems in her life. So I leaned back, smirked, and said, cool. Maybe one of them has a couch you can crash on. The apartment's in my name. Always has been. Already arranged with the landlord. It's month to month. I gave notice. You've got 30 days. Her phone froze in her hand, like she didn't know whether to text or cry first. And me? I just grabbed a beer, sat back, and enjoyed the silence. The kind of silence you don't realize you've been missing until the buzzing notifications stop. But apparently silence was too much for Samantha, because 2 nights later, there's a knock at my door. I'm thinking it's Amazon or the neighbor. Nope. I open it, and it's Samantha, standing there like she's about to stage a protest, with all three of her college brothers lined up behind her: David, Lucas, and Victor, the three stooges of higher education. I leaned against the doorframe, beer still in hand, and just said, "Well, this looks like the world's saddest boy band reunion." Samantha scowled. David puffed up his chest like he was about to arm wrestle me for her honor. Lucas and Victor just looked awkward, like they weren't sure if they were here to fight me or help her move furniture. She goes, "We need to talk." I raised an eyebrow. "We, or the whole cast of Scooby-Doo here?" David cuts in before she can answer. "Bro, you can't just blindside her like this. Moving without telling her? That's messed up." I took a slow sip of my beer. "Oh," I told her. She just didn't notice because her face was glued to her phone screen. Maybe if I'd texted it to the group chat, she'd have caught it. Lucas jumped in like he was tag teaming. "You're overreacting, man. Samantha just has a lot of friends." "That's healthy." "Healthy?" I laughed. "If that's healthy, then McDonald's is a salad bar. My girlfriend's bedtime routine shouldn't be FaceTiming three grown men about their feelings while I sit next to her like a rental plant." Victor tried to get serious. "Look, you can't hurt our little sister like this." That one almost made me choke on my beer. I stared at him, then at the others, then back at him. "Little sister? Really? That's the line you're going with? Because unless family reunions got real weird, I'm pretty sure siblings don't whisper inside jokes on FaceTime at midnight." They shuffled uncomfortably. Samantha muttered, "You're twisting it." I smirked. "No, sweetheart, I'm just quoting it." Big difference. David tried again. "She's just looking for support, man. You've been distant." "Distant?" I tilted my head. I brought home Thai food after a 12-hour shift and watched her ignore me for 40 minutes straight while David here explained his latest heartbreak. "If that's distant, then sure. Guess I'm the problem." Lucas snapped back, "You sound jealous." "Jealous?" I laughed again. "Nah, jealousy is competing for attention. I stopped competing weeks ago. Hard to be jealous when I'm too busy packing for my promotion." And that one hit. David's face tightened. Samantha looked like she'd swallowed a lemon, and Victor just shifted his weight like maybe he regretted showing up. Samantha finally spoke up, tears in her voice. "You can't just throw away 3 years like they're nothing." I set my beer down on the counter, leaned in and said, "3 years of what? Competing with your phone? Playing second string to your group chat? No thanks. If I wanted to date a ghost, I'd call a psychic." She started crying harder. David stepped forward, like he was going to protect her from me. "That's cold, man. She deserves better." "Cool," I said, pointing at him. "She's all yours. Let's see how much fun it is being her unpaid therapist while she scrolls TikTok during dinner. I hope you like second place, because David, you're about to find out she's got a podium with at least 3 spots, and you're not even holding the silver." Lucas muttered, "You're an asshole." "Thanks, man. You've been telling Samantha that for months, right? Funny how she never stopped texting me at night. Guess even assholes outrank background extras." Victor tried to pull her arm. "Come on, Sam, let's just go." "He's not worth it." Finally, something we agreed on. I looked at Samantha, dead calm. "Listen, the lease is in my name, always has been. I've already given notice, and I'm moving. You've got 30 days. Use them wisely. Maybe pick which one of your brothers you want to couch surf with because none of them look like they've got a spare bedroom." David looked like he wanted to argue, but Samantha just stood there crying. She switched gears, begging, "I'll change. I'll set boundaries." I didn't realize. I cut her off with a laugh. "You didn't realize because you were too busy texting. That's not an accident. That's a choice. And choices have consequences." Then she snapped, flipping from tears to rage. "You know what? You're insecure. You're controlling. That's why I talk to them. Because they're not like you." "Awesome," I said, grabbing my beer again. "Then take your insecurities and your brothers and build a life together. I'm busy building mine." Silence. The three stooges shifted, muttered something about being in the car, and shuffled out like kids who just got told recess was canceled. Samantha lingered, mascara streaked, whispering, "You'll regret this." I smirked. "Nah, I regret not doing it sooner." Then I shut the door. And for the first time in months, the silence felt like freedom. Real, uninterrupted, no buzzing phone freedom. But freedom doesn't mean peaceful. Not when Samantha's involved. Fast forward a few weeks, it's moving day. I'd rented the truck myself and just hired movers for the heavy lifting. They rolled up at 7 a.m., ready to go. I had boxes stacked, furniture labeled, everything organized because I don't half-ass things. I was in mission accomplish mode, directing traffic like a general. And then, chaos. Samantha rolls up in a beat-up U-Haul like she's staging a counterattack. Not alone either. She's got her mom with her, plus David, Lucas, and Victor trailing behind like her personal honor guard. The same guys I roasted into oblivion. Guess they thought round 2 would go better. Spoiler, it didn't. I see them walking up and just laugh. Oh great, the Avengers assembled. Who's playing Captain America today? Because I'm pretty sure none of you own a shield, let alone a spine. Samantha ignores the jab. We're moving my stuff out too. It's easier this way. Perfect, I said. Except for one small problem. I pointed at the U-Haul. You forgot step 1? Packing. She looks at the boxes already stacked by the movers. Some of that is mine. Really? I pull out my phone. Coffee table. Receipts in my email. Bookshelf? Same. Couch? Bought it before I even met you. TV? Gift from my parents. Kitchen appliances? My money? Xbox? Don't even try. She actually pointed at my gaming chair like it was hers. Well, I use that too. Congrats, I said. You also use the toilet. Doesn't mean you get to take it. The movers snorted but kept working. David folds his arms. Don't be petty, man. She gave you 3 good years. I barked out a laugh. 3 good years? Bro, she gave me 3 years of being a spectator in my own relationship while she live-streamed her life to you guys. Petty is her trying to steal my coffee table because she once put a candle on it. Her mom steps forward like she's about to deliver a sermon. You can't just throw away 3 years like this. Be reasonable. Relationships take work. I leaned on a box and smiled. Work? Yeah, I know. I've been working. 50 hours a week, paying the bills, carrying the weight. Meanwhile, your daughter's unpaid internship as David's emotional support animal was taking priority. Don't lecture me about work. That shut her up real quick. But Samantha wasn't done. She stormed over to the movers, arms out like she was blocking the end zone. Don't take that couch. It's mine too. The lead mover, a huge guy who looked like he wrestled refrigerators for fun, just looked at me. I nodded. Load it. They brushed past her like she was air. Victor tried stepping in, puffing his chest. Hey man, she deserves something. Something? I grinned. She deserves a medal for fastest speed run of tanking a relationship by Wi-Fi signal. You want to give her something? Give her your couch because this one's mine. The movers kept loading. Samantha kept yelling. David kept trying to puff his chest like he was about to swing, but we both knew he wasn't built for it. At one point, he picked up one of her tote bags to help and dropped it immediately because it was heavier than expected. I couldn't help but laugh. Real hero, huh? Finally, Samantha tried her last weapon, guilt. You're going to regret this when you're alone in that new state, sitting in an empty apartment with nobody. I walked past her, handed the building manager my set of keys, and said loud enough for all of them to hear. She still had her copy and 30 days left on the lease to collect her stuff, but I was out. Her mom gasped like I'd committed a war crime. David looked ready to faint. Samantha's face crumpled, tears streaming down her cheeks as if I'd stolen her last lifeline. I didn't even slow down, climbed into the moving truck, slammed the door, and looked in the rearview mirror just in time to see the scene. Samantha crying into her mom's shoulder, David patting her back like he was auditioning for boyfriend number 4, and Lucas and Victor looking like they wished they'd stayed home. It was cinematic, like a closing credits scene where the villain realizes the plot armor is gone. The best part? The movers were done in record time. While Samantha wasted her energy screaming about furniture that wasn't hers, my stuff was already on its way to my new life. Driving off, I didn't feel sadness, didn't feel guilt. I felt relief. 8 hours on the road, windows down, no constant buzzing, no interruptions, just quiet. Pure, uninterrupted quiet. And for the first time in a long time, I wasn't competing for attention. Samantha thought showing up with her mom and her brothers was going to guilt me into staying. All it did was remind me how pathetic the whole setup was. A grown woman who needed 3 dudes and her mom to fight her battles while I was busy winning mine. And me? I was already gone. 8 hours later, I was pulling into my new apartment's parking lot, sun setting, truck full of my stuff, and 0 regrets. Movers unloaded everything into a corner unit that smelled like new paint and opportunity. For the first time in months, maybe years, I could actually breathe. No buzzing phones, no drama, just space that was mine. Unpacking felt like therapy. I didn't even turn on music. I just enjoyed the quiet. Every box I opened felt like I was unloading a piece of dead weight from my old life. By the time I set up the TV and dropped onto my couch, it hit me. I hadn't had to raise my voice, compete with a screen, or explain myself all day. And the job. Monday was my first official day as operations manager. Walked in, got introduced to the team, and for once I wasn't just another cog in the wheel, I was running the damn thing. My new boss took the whole crew out for lunch to welcome the guy who's going to keep this place from collapsing. Felt good. But here's the part that made me laugh. While I was settling in, thriving, actually living like an adult with a career, Samantha's life started crumbling like a Jenga tower after a bad pull. First, housing. Remember how she tried to claim half my furniture like it was hers? Yeah. She ended up couch surfing at her friend Kayla's place because she couldn't afford the apartment on her own. Not exactly the queen's throne she thought she deserved. And Kayla? Not a long-term solution. I heard through mutuals that she kicked Samantha out within a month because, shocker, Samantha spent more time texting David than actually paying rent or helping out. Then came the job. Remote marketing sounds great until your boss realizes you're remote because you're glued to FaceTime calls instead of actually attending meetings. Her hours got cut. She whined online about how corporate America doesn't respect work-life balance. But let's be real. You can't balance anything if you're tipping the scale toward your group chat. And speaking of the group chat, that blew up in her face too. She must have thought trashing me behind my back was harmless fun. Problem is, mutual friends screenshot everything. Suddenly, her support system wasn't a secret anymore. People saw the way she mocked me, the way she painted me as boring while I was out busting my ass to provide stability. Her image as the sweet girlfriend cracked in real time. The best part? Her college brother started ghosting her one by one. Lucas got a girlfriend, and shockingly, spending Wednesday nights with Samantha wasn't on his new girlfriend's approved activities list. Victor moved out of state for a new job. David, the loudest defender of them all, started dating someone too. And when he got busy with his new girl, guess who wasn't top priority anymore? Samantha went from queen bee of the group chat to the annoying roommate nobody wanted around. It was poetic. She traded her boyfriend for 3 guys who didn't stick around when real life hit. Meanwhile, I was thriving. My new place had a gym in the building, 15-minute commute to work, and neighbors who actually looked me in the eye when they talked, instead of checking their phones every 5 seconds. I'd go for morning runs, grab coffee from the cafe down the street, and it felt like I'd reset my life on hard mode. Except I was winning. And then there was Nancy. She was in accounting, also new to the city, also figuring things out. We grabbed coffee just to swap moving tips and ended up talking for 45 minutes straight. Not once did she check her phone. That alone felt revolutionary. A woman who could hold a conversation without multitasking 3 emotional support FaceTimes in the background? Sign me up. I wasn't rushing into anything, but even casual coffee with Nancy made me realize how low the bar had been set with Samantha. When someone values your presence enough to give you their full attention, it changes everything. Back on Samantha's side, things weren't looking so rosy. She posted some half-baked sob story on Instagram about toxic relationships and insecure men who can't handle independent women. Classic victim routine. Only problem? The comments weren't the chorus of sympathy she expected. A couple mutuals called her out directly. Wasn't it you texting 3 dudes every night? Another dropped the receipts from the group chat. Her credibility tanked faster than her rent money. And the silence from her brothers? That was deafening. No David swooping in to defend her this time. No Lucas with late-night rants. No Victor planning brunches. They'd all moved on, replaced her with girlfriends, jobs, lives. She was alone. I didn't even have to lift a finger. The same people she prioritized over me ditched her without hesitation when their own lives shifted. It was like watching someone trade in a winning lottery ticket for a stack of IOUs and then act surprised when nobody cashed them. And me? I didn't feel pity. I didn't feel smug. I just felt free. Like I dodged a bullet and somehow upgraded at the same time. While she scrambled for couches to crash on and sympathy likes on Instagram, I was eating steak dinners with my new team and planning weekend hikes with people who actually wanted me around. She gambled, bet everything on the wrong hand, and lost. And me? I was stacking wins. New job, new city, new people. My weekends were filled with exploring instead of arguments. My evenings weren't dictated by the sound of someone else's notifications. I was running my own playbook, and life was good. But Samantha, she couldn't let it go. She wasn't just losing, she was unraveling. It started with her parents. Out of nowhere, I get a call from a number I don't recognize. It's her mom, voice dripping with fake politeness. You can't just abandon her after 3 years. She's heartbroken. She doesn't have anywhere to go. You owe her more than this. I leaned back in my chair at work, grinning. Ma'am, with all due respect, I don't owe your daughter a damn thing. If she doesn't have anywhere to go, maybe she should move back in with her loving family. That seems like your department, not mine. Click. Call ended. A day later, her dad called. Tried a different angle. The be a man card. It's not right what you did. A real man doesn't just walk away. I laughed. A real man doesn't let himself get treated like background noise, while his girlfriend FaceTimes 3 other dudes every night. Maybe next time she dates a real man, she'll figure that out. He hung up too. I thought that was the end of it, but no. Samantha doubled down. Next thing I know, I'm getting LinkedIn notifications. Samantha viewed your profile. Then again an hour later. Then David. Then Lucas. Then Victor. Like they were running a surveillance op out of sheer boredom. I almost felt bad. Almost. If they wanted to stalk me, they could enjoy looking at my shiny new job title and the professional headshot I'd paid for. Free advertisement of how well I was doing without her. But she didn't stop there. A week later, I get a call from my sister Lauren. Dude, your ex is on my porch. What? Yeah, Samantha. It's 9 p.m. She looks rough. She's saying she needs to talk to me about you. Apparently, Samantha had taken a bus back to my hometown because she couldn't afford gas. Showed up at my sister's house like this was some kind of soap opera reunion episode. Lauren's husband answered the door, confused as hell, and Samantha launched into a meltdown, crying, saying she made a mistake, asking if Lauren would convince me to give her another chance. Lauren shut it down. You made choices. These are consequences. Please leave before I call the cops. And just like that, Samantha was standing on the curb with her little carry-on bag and nowhere to go. At this point, she was flailing. So what did she try next? Legal games. Next thing I know, I'm getting a notice in the mail. Samantha filed a small claim suit against me for shared property. She filed it back in our old county, so I booked a cheap flight, showed up for the morning hearing, and walked in ready. I pulled out my phone, scrolled through Amazon orders, Best Buy confirmations, emailed invoices. Judge looked at her like she was out of her mind. You can't claim property you didn't purchase or sign for. Case dismissed in under 10 minutes. The look on her face was priceless. Her support system wasn't there to clap for her this time. She walked out of that courtroom like someone just repossessed her last shred of dignity. And just when I thought it couldn't get more desperate, she played her final card. An email. Not to my personal account, to my work email. Subject line. Please read important information. I almost deleted it. But curiosity won. I opened it, and there it was. 5 pages of pure delusion. She'd apparently started therapy 2 weeks ago, and now realized she had attention distribution issues. She claimed her friends had been taking advantage of her giving nature. She said I was the only one who truly cared, and that she was finally ready to be the girlfriend I deserved. The kicker? She wrote that she was prepared to move to my new state and start fresh. Like she thought I'd read this essay and immediately roll out a welcome mat. I forwarded it straight to Nancy. We sat on my couch that night, drinking wine, laughing through every paragraph. Nancy said, "She sounds like she's writing a college essay for a professor who doesn't care." Spot on. My reply? Short and sweet. Please don't contact me again. I wish you the best. Then I blocked her email domain. She tried one more time through LinkedIn, sending a connection request with the message. I see you're doing well. I'm proud of you. Maybe we could grab coffee and catch up. Catch up? Ma'am, this isn't a high school reunion. You don't ignore someone for 2 years, treat them like background noise, and then waltz back in asking for coffee. Blocked. Reported. Done. By now, her desperation wasn't sad. It was pathetic. She'd burned every bridge she had, and the only person left to beg was the guy she spent years dismissing. And me? I wasn't about to hand her a lifeline. She wanted freedom. She wanted independence. She wanted her brothers. And now, she had none of it. Just vague Instagram posts about growth while she crashed on Kayla's couch again. And me? I was sipping coffee with Nancy, laughing about it, and getting ready for the next chapter of my life. At that point, Samantha was a memory I didn't revisit. But apparently, she wasn't done trying to claw her way back into relevance. It was a Saturday morning. Nancy and I were at a cafe 2 blocks from my office. We'd just ordered when I heard a voice that made me roll my eyes before I even turned around. Turns out she'd been crashing with a cousin a couple hours from the city and sniffed me out through mutual friends. Wow. So it's true. Samantha. Standing there like she was about to collect an award. Hair overdone, makeup doing overtime, wearing an outfit that screamed, "Look how fine I am." But all it did was highlight how rattled she looked underneath. I leaned back in my chair, smirked. Damn, you finally left Kayla's couch. Progress. She shot a glare at me, then flicked her eyes toward Nancy. This is who you left me for? Cute. Looks like a rebound. That's all she is. Nancy didn't even look at her. She just kept sipping her latte. That's one of the things I liked about her. She didn't entertain clowns. So I took over. Rebound? You're giving yourself too much credit. You weren't the big love story. You were the warm-up act. Nancy's the headliner. You're the commercial break everyone skips. Her lips twitched. She tried to brush it off. You think you're funny, but you'll get bored. You always do. And when you do, you'll come crawling back. That's how guys like you are. You trade stability for excitement, then regret it. I laughed, leaned forward. Stability? You call using me for rent while you lived your second life through group chat stability? Number. That's not stability. That's dead weight. And I don't regret dropping it. That one hit. She blinked hard, like she wasn't ready for me to cut through her script. Then she got louder, trying to make a scene. I made mistakes, okay? But I'm in therapy now. I'm learning. I see everything clearly. I can fix this. We can fix this. I tilted my head. You couldn't fix dinner without texting 3 guys halfway through. You really think therapy after 2 weeks fixes 3 years of you treating me like background noise? Newsflash. It doesn't. You can't even fix your living situation, but you think you can fix us? Sit down. People at the other tables were starting to glance over. Samantha noticed. Her voice cracked, desperate. I was scared of intimacy, that's all. David and Lucas and Victor were just distractions. You were the one I loved. I see that now. And I leaned back again, calm as hell. Distractions? That's cute. You built your whole personality around them. And now that they ditched you for actual girlfriends, suddenly you remember me? Nah, I wasn't the one. I was the safety net. And guess what? Safety nets cut loose when the circus is over. Her face collapsed. The smug smile was gone, replaced with the look of someone who realized they brought a knife to a gunfight. She muttered something under her breath and stormed out, heels clicking too fast, like she couldn't get away quick enough. Nancy just raised an eyebrow, still sipping her drink. I grinned. That was Samantha's grand finale. Standing ovation, huh? But the closure wasn't done. 2 weeks later, I ran into Lucas and Victor at a networking mixer. Turns out they'd landed jobs selling into supply chain software. So of course they showed up at the same industry event. Of all places, a rooftop bar my company had rented out for logistics people. They spotted me across the room, shuffled over with that we know we look stupid energy. Victor started, "Hey man, no hard feelings about back then?" I smirked. Which part? The intervention? The moving day circus? Or when you tried to call her your little sister while FaceTiming her at midnight? Take your pick. Lucas chuckled nervously. Yeah, about that. You were right. She's too much. We cut her off. I raised my glass. Who could have guessed the girl who drained her boyfriend dry might also drain her friends? Shocking. Victor sighed. Even David bailed once he started dating someone. Said he couldn't deal with her constant drama. That one made me laugh out loud. The guy who swore he was her protector, who strutted around calling me insecure, dumped her the second he had a real relationship. I leaned in. So, let me get this straight. She lost me. She lost you guys. She lost her apartment. She lost her job hours. And she still thinks she's the victim? They didn't even argue. Just nodded like 2 kids who finally realized the teacher they mocked was right the whole time. Walking home that night with Nancy, I didn't feel smug. I didn't feel angry. I just felt done. Samantha wanted attention. She wanted an audience. And in the end, even her brothers got tired of the reruns. She told me once I'd regret leaving. But watching Nancy laugh at my sarcastic jokes, phone still in her purse, eyes on me the whole time, the only regret I had was wasting 3 years on someone who never looked up. Game over. YouTube just dropped this new hype feature. If you're hooked on this story, smash that hype button. It tells YouTube this video deserves to blow up, and it keeps even crazier stories coming your way.